Jai Baba. It's an honor and privilege to be here, and very tough shoes to fill, because I think many of y'all have heard, maybe personally, physically, or on tape, my father, Dr. Hoshang Bharucha. So I will try my best to do justice to today's session, and I'm very happy to be here. I was here in 1989, just 21 years old, and we had toured quite a lot of US, and believe you me, I have forgotten quite a bit of what we had gone around doing. But when it came today, I was telling Murli and Manjusha, whom I'm with, that it was, I can remember every bit of my visit here at Myrtle Beach Center. So if anyone feels sleepy, if I'm dragging or whatever, please give me some ishara, as we say in Hindi, some signal, and I will wind up slowly or quickly. So talking about me, like Keith said, I think Meher Baba was handed to me on a golden platter. In terms of, I am born into a Baba family. And this golden platter narrative, Dr. Meher Desai, a wonderful, wonderful person who was Mansari's relative, she used to say this: what can I tell you about Meher Baba? He was handed to me on a golden platter. And yes, I don't know whether I'm 56 years old now. At that time, we just believed him. I mean, there was no question of questioning or asking, is this, why did Baba say this, or why, what was it? It was just there. And the day began with a Baba Parvardegar prayer and Aarti in the morning. It ended with that. We met different people, we lived a life, we everything, school, college, it just went ahead. Of course, the most important thing was that I was always connected to a Baba center. My parents lived in Navsari, which is a small town in Gujarat. So I knew people from there, and those people many people had met Meher Baba too. Then I grew up, I studied in Hyderabad. So the Hyderabad center people, so we, not as often as in school, but yes, in college we were quite actively involved with the youth. I was also part of the center. Then I shifted for graduation to Mumbai, and I was associated with Bombay Center. And then I now live in Pune, married and settled in Pune. So the Pune Center is very dear to us, and Pune is very close to Ahmednagar. So it's like, you can go there, you leave home at 6 in the morning and you're back home by 1:32, just going to the Samadhi and meeting a few people there. So I think that connect is also very important, being with people who knew Baba. Now coming to Hoshang, my father, it could be, looking back, I think it was a little embarrassing, but I'll tell you why. My father had only two, missions in life. One was Meher Baba, spreading his word, and the second was, he was a doctor, he was a physician. His practice and looking after his patients and looking into their care. That was it. And he used to travel all over the world also to a certain extent. Later on, more in India, giving talks about Baba. And we would accompany him, sometimes my mom, me too. And whether we were on the train or a bus, the Indian custom, which is unfortunately changing now, everybody talks about, hi, how are you, who are you, and things like that. My father would just, where are you going to? My father would just say, hello, I'm Bharucha, and shake hands, whether that person wanted to or not with a lady, of course, because we have Indian tradition is different. And the next thing would be, have you heard of Meher Baba? So that person would 99% of the time say no. So he would talk about, Meher Baba is God, the avatar, and this. If he found that sometimes people listened, so then it was okay. And sometimes people sort of just, shrugged and this thing. and he would promptly close his eyes and fall asleep. And my mom and I would sort of, smile, and now do we get back to how are you, where are you going, or just quit. So, but it didn't matter to him. He really continued that what Baba had said. No, your duty is to put my name to a person's ears, and it's my duty to take my name or the connection from the ears to that person's heart. He truly personified that, my dad. It could be embarrassing. There were times, when there were family functions and all, and he would just talk about Baba, or just, one track thing. So let me tell you about, I'm sure you've heard many stories, and like we met and we were talking at tea time. He was very meticulous, and he recorded in terms of writing. There was no computers. He passed in 1995. So he used to write down. He had his diaries, and wherever he went, whichever center called him, he had programs there. He would write down experiences of people after Baba passed, and before Baba, when Baba was alive too. He always noted down lots of things, and then came back home and typed it out. And that time, I still remember, there was a typewriter at home, because that was not the days. There was no computer till late 90s in back home in India. So he and people verified that. Erach and Bhauji and all felt that, what Hoshang wrote, and Mani used to always say, where is your diary? Hoshang is never without his diary and his pen. So quite a lot of what he said, and he had this vision or dream that I will, 100 years, 1994, I'll print out memories of Guru Prasad, publish a book called Memories of Guru Prasad. And he was collecting a lot of material from a lot of people, which was then typed out. And of course, Naushirwan and I think Kendra helped a lot also. But unfortunately, he fell sick in 94. And that's another story of how that journey linked to Baba, but I won't get into that now. So, and he was diagnosed with brain tumor, surgery, chemo, radiation, but it wasn't to be. So he passed. Then my mom said she'll take it up, and then life went on. I was just married with 2 young children, and then another very close Baba lover called Balakrishnan. He told me that I've got Meher Baba and your father in a dream, and we need to bring out this book. And this book finally came out, and it's called Memories of Guru Prasad. I will give 2 copies to the library here, so you can definitely. It's a different style of writing, and there. So coming back to my father, he was from childhood. You can say he was spiritually inclined. His dad, being a Zoroastrian, also had built a Ram temple, a mandir of Lord Ram, and how he met a guru called Gondavlekar Maharaj, and how my father and his 4 siblings used to say that though they were devout Zoroastrians, Parsis, and at that time, it was, you kept to your religion. Hoshang's father, my grandfather, would make them every morning and night repeat a jap like Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So that was there. He became vegetarian at the age of 9, which is unheard of in a Zoroastrian family who loves their meat and chicken. So, and he also was devoted to Godavari Mataji. That was his first person whom he looked to. And Godavari Mataji is from Sakori. Upasni Maharaj is the ashram passed on from after Upasni Maharaj passed away in Sakori to Godavari Mataji. So he used to be with her, and the first time Hoshang met Meher Baba was in 1952 at Ashiana Bungalow, the Dada Chanji Bungalow in Bombay. So before that, he was studying. He was doing his medicine at that time, and he was in his final year. And what they used to do, because he was from Sakori, I mean, he was used to go to Sakori and followed Godavari Mataji. What there was another lady who also believed in Godavari Mataji. She was a widow. So they used to, it seems, look up on Sunday mornings the papers and read which sadhu, which holy person, which saint has come to Bombay, and they would go and bow down there, and they would take some flowers or and a coconut, and they would go do that. So that was a regular practice. That's how they came to know that Meher Baba is giving darshan on this date in April from 9 to 11 at Ashiana. So she was very keen that they go. So he was not at all keen. He said, I'm in the midst of exams, my final exams, so, but he couldn't say no. So he said, and at that time, a lady, I guess, going alone was not very appropriate. So he went with her. Now, before that, he had heard Meher Baba's name in 1949 at Sakori, because somebody had mentioned that Meher Baba is going to, he's closed his ashram and is going for new life. You know, Baba had started his new life phase. So, and Meher Baba has long hair. So my father says, when we were supposed to meet Meher Baba at Ashiana, he said, any long haired person, I would say, oh, could this be Meher Baba? Now when they went there, they couldn't find the place. So from 9 to 11, they kept searching on that particular day, and it was past 11 that they reached Ashiana. And he was most upset that, you know, all my efforts in vain and I've lost these 3 hours in the morning or 4 hours. So he wanted to go back. And Baidul was at the entrance. So this lady told Baidul that tell Meher Baba, we are from Sakori, Godavari Mataji ke bhakt hai. We are followers of Godavari Mataji, and see what happens. And Baba passed through from one wing to the other. So he said, I glimpsed Baba and I was pretty keen to go. I was not very interested. But then Baidul said, okay, come. So they did go in, and Baba was seated on his chair, and the first thing Baba said is, don't bow down, you know, no bowing down. So they were wondering now what to do, because, you know, you take flowers, you this thing, and you bow down to, that's what they were used to every Sunday. So this lady, and then Baba gave prasad. So Baba gave prasad, and like, you know, to this. So that lady took Baba's hand when he gave the prasad and put it to her head. So my dad did the same. He took Baba's hand, put it, and then they were out. And that was it, you know. And my father says that first meeting was not very remarkable in my mind. You know, it wasn't like the revelation that Meher Baba is an avatar and, you know, that way. Then he finished his exams. He looked for a job at Ahmednagar Missionary Hospital as a resident doctor. But he didn't get that place. And he didn't realize that it was so close to where Baba was staying. Then he worked in Mumbai. Then he went in 1953, 53 or so. He went to Navsari as a medical officer in the cotton and silk mills. Gujarat is an industrial textile, where Maharashtra and Gujarat, state in India, had a lot of textile factories at that time, cotton and, you know, a lot of textile industries. So he was the medical officer in this small town over there. And small town, and people knew each other where he was staying. He came to know about a Sai Meher Mandal, like a group of people which met every Thursday at 9 in the evening. They were all businessmen who shut shop and things, and some of them had met Baba, because Baba had visited Navsari in the 1920s. That's another story with Soma Desai, another Zoroastrian. So there was that connection with Baba and Navsari. So he was invited to come to these meetings, like how we have our weekly Baba meetings at centers. So he was invited there. But he soon was very disappointed because there was just a little bit of some, bhajan or arti, and then everybody just gossiped about what happened and the, current affairs, and went home. So he stopped coming. So one of the people there said, "Ki, why are you, please come." So he said, "I will not come. It needs structure as usual." So then they had this. Then they started off with a Nam Jap, which is like a, remember saying Baba's name, bhajans, and reading Baba's literature. So that's how he slowly developed interest, though he considered himself as Godavari Mataji's disciple. Then 1954 final declaration was there. So they said, "Okay, we are all going from Navsari, you also come." So he said, "Okay." Then they said everybody has to pay 22 rupees at that time. So he was very furious. My dad came from very humble beginnings. Though his dad and he, and they grew up, and his father had made this mandir, temple, etc. They had lost everything. So he was supporting his mother and the sisters and the other two brothers also. So he said, and he's written it somewhere, "Ki I thought that 22 rupees was daylight robbery. And is this an ashram or is it a hotel?" So he didn't go. So he didn't go for that meeting with Baba. Then 1955 Savas, where the Gujarat group had come, Bombay group had come and all. And then, of course, as we say in India, Baba turns the key. And then, of course, he got very close to Baba, and then it was nobody but Baba. Yes, it was not easy separating, accepting Godavari Mataji and Baba, and that also Baba helped him, of course, through Erach. And once Erach told him, there was a lot of doubt and confusion in his mind, saying that, why, Godavari Mataji I'm her disciple, and Baba is saying, come up to me and I am this thing. So then Erach explained it to him that, see, he is the source. Even Godavari Mataji's love is for your love to Godavari Mataji, then it comes to me. So it's indirect. Why don't you, come directly to me? And somehow that struck a chord, I think. And then, of course, after that, there was nobody else but Meher Baba. And then he was always there, and there were a lot of course, till the end, he was not part of the Mandli, but now they keep saying, which I don't know if it's right or wrong, he was part of the external Mandli, which I don't know is a thing or not, so I will not get into that controversy. So, and then lots of incidents happened in his life, which maybe I can share a few. My dad had this, I would call it an obsession. It wasn't. It was with Baba's breaking of his silence, and basically his Baba. When will Baba break his silence? And the second one was this Baba's book, which he has said he's written in so many different languages, and where it is come out. So he used to go on this hunts, and he used to drive, I think, Erach, poor fellow, crazy, and saying, "Okay, no, it is under the table house, and this is my calculation, and this is what I read here and there." And then he said it is over here, and then Baba is going to break his silence. So that was, and I think Mani and Erach, because there used to be a lot of correspondence and letters, and they would humor him, and they would say, "Okay, yes, when," and they would be like, "Baba's book will come out when it has to come out. Why are you, pushing the issue," kind of a thing. But that was him. If something got into his head, so he was there most meetings at Guru Prasad, and at that time it's Saturday, Sunday. So he would, from Navsari to Mumbai is a 4.5 hours train ride. Then Bombay to Pune at that time was nearly a 4.5 5 hour ride. And then, of course, Nagar, when they had to go. So they used to do this. Many people, not only my father, from Navsari, they used to come, leave Friday night from Navsari, and then Sunday night again leave from Pune or evening and come back. So he has spent a lot of time with Baba, and a lot of stories. Maybe I'll share a few stories. Uh, somebody mentioned God Speaks, that when Baba's book, The God Speaks, was released, and my father has a signed copy. Baba had signed a particular amount of copies of The God Speaks, which my dad and I have today too. So he had read it and concised it into, a short, like a not really short notes, and that was presented to Baba. And the Navsari Baba followers, Baba lovers say that Baba has said that that is the most accurate description of the synopsis, rather, synopsis of God Speaks that has been done. And then he also took out a CD, a cassette at that time, and then a CD also, which now is all totally extinct. But I know that some people have the digital version of that, and he himself did it. He wrote the script and he said it, and many people swear that they understand God Speaks fairly well or pretty well through his thing. That is what, and it used to be his passion. He had also made a film about Baba and things like that, and another bhajan aarti, all the aartis also with Madhusudan had come to Navsari, and I'm rambling. Coming back to a story, um, Baba was very particular about orders, right? Obedience is more important than love. That's what Baba has often stated. So in 1958, Baba came to the States, and 1959, either April or May, again, it was in Guru Prasad, where they were Baba people, and my father was sitting, and they were talking to Baba, and Baba was playing and teasing and things like that. So and I before I get to this story, I remember Baba used to sometimes tell my father, "Oh, you're a doctor, very good doctor," and then my father would say, "Oh my God, now it's going to crash the ego, something." Then Baba would turn around and say, "Who made you a doctor? You're a hajam. Hajam is a barber." There's a saying in Hindi that if you're not a good doctor, you're as good as a barber. No offense to the profession. So Baba used to say that. So it was always, ups and downs. So so they said there was this Baba film which was made of Baba's trip in US, and which would be screened. So then Baba gave an order that everybody will face this, like if Baba was sitting here and the screen would be there, so everybody needed to face front, the men mandli, because the women mandli, including Mehra, would be standing behind, would come from their quarters in Guru Prasad and stand behind and also get a chance to, because at that time the projector and doing it wasn't as easy as Dennis does it just now, I guess. So my father, in his mind, he thought, what a simple order. I mean, there's nothing to it. You have to see the film. And he was seated at Baba's feet, right side, left side, I don't know. The film started, and Baba started tickling him, pulled his ear, tickled him on his neck. And the instinct is when somebody touches you from the back, you tend to look behind. He said it was so difficult not to look behind and follow Baba's order, because and then Baba actually was prodding or poking him with his toe in his over here, at his waist. And then he said, I sat there. It didn't occur to him to move aside. But then Baba said, after the film was done, completed, and the women mandli went back, Baba just said, a small order is as important as a big order. And that was when my father Hoshang realized that yes, it is, it's not something, the ego comes in, oh, what's there, who's going to look behind, kind of thing. So that was one thing. And once when Baba was, I'm sorry, yeah, in Guru Prasad in the afternoon, everybody used to go for tea. So the chai, everybody would leave the where Baba was sitting, and Baba's tea would come to him. So my father never left. He would sit there. So Baba's tea would come, Erach or whoever would bring it, and then they would say, "Ke Hoshang, you're not going for chai." So he said, "No, I don't want to waste those precious moments having chai. I'd rather sit here quietly with you." So Baba was very happy, and then 2 or 3 times Baba poured his tea into the saucer and gave it to my father and said, "Have a sip." And then the order was, never drink chai again. So he never had chai. And sometimes he would make it very clear, especially for talks and when he was traveling, because in India the custom is to offer tea the minute you go to someone's place, which is also sadly changing. So it is like a lot of people. So he was very particular, and that was one of Baba's orders, which he never, till the end, he kept to it. He never. I mean, it's a small order, but that was what he did. Then, as I said, my father was vegetarian from the age of 9. So, and once again at Guru Prasad in the summer, something like caviar, fish roe, what we call in India, which came specially from Navsari or Gujarat at that time in a matka is an earthen pot. It had to be specially kept so that it didn't spoil, and it came to Baba. It was like a fish pickle, like caviar, like a pickle. So that came, and Baba was very, Baba, we say, na, Baba was, I mean, I've heard that I'm the slave of the love of my lovers. So Baba would, say, "Oh, what is this? It's come. Wow, so nice. Come on, everybody have." So Baba opened that pot, matka, and he was giving one piece to whoever the mandli was. So my dad didn't get up because he was Guru Godavari Mataji Bhakt and all the Hindu rituals and traditions. So again Baba, in his infinite knowledge, "Arey, who's left? Who's left?" So "Arey, Hoshang is left." Arey, then somebody said, "Baba, he's what we again say, he's a Brahman. He doesn't eat meat, or he doesn't eat non-veg, vegetarian." So Baba, "Actually, you don't eat? Oh, how come?" So then he said, "You come here." So Baba put a piece of that fish pickle into his mouth, and he said, "What comes out of your mouth is more important than what goes in." Baba said this to Hoshang. And he said, "Your being a vegetarian is just inflating your ego. Okay? You are going everywhere and I'm a vegetarian and I have to be." He said, "Just cut it. You eat whatever you want, but don't eat the fish pickle ever again." And he stuck to that order too. That was Baba's order to him, that this. And then of course my father ate everything and ate well. So that was another story. Okay, coming to food, there's this ice cream story, as I name it. So at Guru Prasad, it's hot. April, May is very hot in Pune. So at that time, someone decided that we'll all have ice cream. And Baba said, "Yes, let's have ice cream." And it was an entire process. It used to be those churned ice creams where you had to bring a wooden casket, you had to put ice inside, and there was a metal steel container, not a metal, steel container where the milk and the sugar and the dry fruits etc. would be put, and then that whole thing was churned. It used to be called churned ice cream. So that was a whole process which took some time, and to keep the ice from melting, usually we put coarse salt. I don't know if you've heard this story. So so that salt is put so that the ice doesn't melt. So once the ice cream was ready, Baba said, "Chalo, I'm looking forward to it." And Baba was, as you all know, very poor eater, just dal and rice. But it was like, to again please everyone. So that the lid of that ice cream container, the steel container, got stuck. It wasn't opening. So everybody tried. So then they said, okay, Hoshang is, hefty, big, tall guy. He will pull it open. So he did. He managed to pull it open. But when he was opening it, a little bit of that salt, the salt ice, which was salty rather, went into the ice cream, which whoever was serving it didn't realize and happily scooped it and gave it to Baba. And he saw it and he wanted to say, okay, Arey, it's salty. But Baba ate it. And Baba, and like it was very good, and Baba was very happy. And then my father said, but that, ice cream must have been so salty. So Baba said, no, it was he didn't want to upset the person who had brought the ice cream, because it was out of love that that person had given Baba this ice cream. And then my father said that yes, this was, like it was a learning for me that Baba undertook so much of pain or difficulty, even if it was as simple as a bite of salty ice cream, but he always appreciated or looked at this thing. How is the time wise? Am I good to go on another few 10 minutes? Yeah? Okay. So, coming to another story, there were lots of, yes. Then there was another thing where Baba has said that Mehra loves me as I ought to be loved. That is what Baba used to say very often. So my dad, in his, infinite ego, used to say, what's so special about, Mehra Mais? And that time they were never allowed to meet or go. And I remember till date when I was growing up and we would go and Mani and Mehra would say, would sit on the porch at Mehrazad. Again, I'm digressing, sorry. The old timers, I remember they would never walk up the steps when Mehra was there. They would only say Jai Baba from far, because Baba's orders were so drilled in their brains. And then when Mehra was somewhere else, they would go to Baba's room, yes. And then after Mehra and Mani passed, also they would see it. My father, I remember, would only stop at the door. They would never go inside or touch Mehra's bed. That was the training or whatever they had. So once there was a darshan program in, I think it was 65, in Guru Prasad again, and Baba was in pain, and as a medical doctor he said, I was understanding that it was hot, and Erach was mopping Baba's brow, and so was he. And there is a picture of Hoshang and Erach holding up Baba, because he stood and waved to the crowd. So when he was with Baba and he was, wondering about Baba's pain, Mehra from inside sent word. So Erach went in and Mani gave another cushion. The cushion which was on Baba's seat at the back, Baba's chair. So they removed that cushion and they saw that it was drenched with sweat. It was hot. So Baba was sweating. He was hot. And none of them realized it. They were mopping Baba's brow, but Mehra, who was sitting inside, who was not part of the darshan, and Baba looked at Hoshang and said, "This is Mehra's love," and he understood, Then there was a time when Baba was doing home visits in Pune. It was just after the accident and Satara accident, and Baba had, that chair with where people used to, the two like rods kind of thing. So there was a place he had to go to which had steps. So everybody said that please, excuse Baba from coming to your house, because it's difficult. Baba is in excruciating pain. But that lover was most insistent and said, no Baba, you've come this far, your car has come till here, so please come up. So Baba climbed those steps with my father and the others helping, and Baba kept saying, it's paining, that way. And my father was very upset, and it was like, I wish I could do something to this person so that he understands, and not call. But of course, this was all in his mind, he didn't say anything. Next day, when he went again to Guru Prasad, Baba said, did you know that Mera had developed a fever around so and so time? So, and then he said Mera, and then my father understood that yes, that was the same time when Baba was in pain, climbing those steps. It was the time that Mera also developed fever. So it was that, she really loves me as I ought to be loved. And then he said, no questions, Baba, it is, that way. Then 1966, both my parents got married, and my Baba was in strict seclusion, and Hoshang had written to Baba. So 67 or I'm not too sure when, for 15 minutes, my mum had a meeting at Merazad with Baba. Both my parents went, and my mother, because my mother came from a very Zoroastrian family who didn't believe in sadhus and sants and saints, or like the traditional custom in India was, they were only with your religion. So she met Baba, and in that 15 minutes Baba convinced her of his divinity or whatever that connection, and then she was a Baba lover and devout Baba lover till the end of her life. And I think she had asked Baba, why do your lovers fight so much amongst each other? Because that's what she had heard, and that's why she was a little resistant towards Meher Baba, because she would keep hearing different stories and different things about Meher Baba. So Baba had told her, everyone loves me, and they are trying to prove their love for me, that my love is, outdo each other in their love for Baba, that they fight with each other. So that's what she told me. And then Baba had told her that, how many children do you want? So she said, I want 2. So Baba said, no, just 1. And then he said, quickly. So she said, no, we've just gotten married, not so soon. So Baba said, no, I want to bring down a good soul to this earth. This is what I've heard. So and he said, I want to bring down a Nallo Hoshang, a small Hoshang. So my father told the whole world that I'm going to get a son. And then out popped me, and I was there. And the word went to Baba that, Hoshang is disappointed that he has a girl, which I don't think was true, but it just became a joke or what, I'm not too sure. So Baba sent a telegram, because it somehow reached, the telegram went that, Hoshang and Maimuna have got a baby girl. So Baba sent a telegram back in Gujarati that Dolo ya Dolly, whether it's a girl or a boy, it is my prasad. So, don't question it. And that was it. One more thing I forgot. When my mum went to meet Baba at Merazad, Baba said that take her to Mehrabad and ask Padri to show her Mehrabad. So then they left. In that 10 minutes or so they left, and then from Merazad they went to Mehrabad. And Padri was there, and Padri was informed that you need to show Maimuna Mehrabad. So Padri actually took my mom around. This is the Mandli Hall. This is that time Mehrabad was hardly, the lower Mehrabad was just but he showed her. This is the place where, this is the bathroom. This is the fresh water. This is for drinking. This is where you can have a bath. And my mother saying, why is this person telling me, I'm not interested in looking at the toilet or the bathroom or anything. So, but because it was Baba's order to show Maimuna Mehrabad, Padri did the actual tour, and of course Upper Mehrabad, which was only Baba Samadhi and the seclusion cabins. Now, 68 April I was born, 69 Baba dropped his body, 31st January. So when they heard and the telegram came, or they heard it, the Navsari group heard it on the radio, and they just dropped everything and they went, and all, quite a few people went. Then they came to know slowly that Baba's body is going to be interned or kept for 7 days, because even the Westerners came, etc. So my father sent a telegram saying that you come with me. So my mom, and that time also, I guess in 69, there were two ladies with a small baby who came the whole route, Navsari to Bombay, Bombay to Pune, Pune to Nagar, from Nagar by Tonga. That time there was a horse-drawn carriage because there was no rickshaw or taxis, to which was a long journey. And she didn't want to go up because I was messy. I was 8 months old. She was messy, and she came there. There was no, everybody was, it was a different scene. She recollected. This is where the toilet will be. This is where the fresh water will be, where, you can get drinking water. So she knew her bearings because the Tonga just dropped her and left. And then she realized that everything that Baba does has a purpose. And then, of course, I was changed or whatever and taken up. And I was touched to Baba's feet in the crypt over there. So that is my little connection with Baba. And then they say that Aloba was around, and he said, where's Hoshang's daughter? Where's Hoshang's daughter? So they must have said, so my mom had me. So Aloba, in his usual style, you're Maimuna, this is Hoshang's daughter. He just grabbed me, which upset my mom quite a bit, and he just hugged me or something, and he gave me back, So then years later he said it was Baba's order that you greet Hoshang's daughter from me. So that was his way of doing it, I guess, So and somehow Aloba and I had a very good connection also. He was, all the mandli, we used to go, and we used to spend time there. And incidentally, Rustam's son's name is Meher, and I am Dilmeher. So the mandli, Mera, Goher not so much, but Katie and all would always call me Meher. And once when I was very young, I think 9, 10 or something, I remember Meher was also there and I was there. Today I wouldn't recognize him if he stood before me, but I remember at that time arguing, like, no, Meher is better, no, Dilmeher is better. And then Mani came and snapped at both of us and gave us both a prasad and said, now stop fighting with each other. That was some memory that I had. I'll stop now and maybe keep it open for question. Anybody would like to share, not necessary a question. I'll try to answer. There are many stories like that. Yes, please.
Dr. Bharucha told us that Baba had given him the names of the 5 perfect masters. Did
Yes.
he tell you?
No. Baba had asked. He was very into this Guru, God speaks and things. So he had asked Baba. It was in his mind, but then he did ask Baba, and Baba said he was not very pleased, but Baba said, yes, I will tell you. And he had written it on a piece of paper, and he had said that you will destroy that and not disclose it to anyone. So no, neither did my mother know who that was, because it was Baba's order. But yes, he had told him who the present, after Narayan Maharaj, Upasni, Maba and all, who the 5 Sadgurus were. Yes. Yes.
Did you have any stories that he told you about the 69 darshan?
Yes. In fact, there is a whole...
I was there, and he took care of me because I was sick.
Right. Okay. Yes. Could be. Yes. There are things, and I think in memories of Guru Prasad also, yes, they were all there. But I think they did the darshan, but it wasn't the same. I think it was different because Baba was not there, right? But yes, that reminds me of another order that Baba had given my father. He was the medical person in charge at that time during all these darshan programs, and Baba had given him an order not to leave the mandap. Mandap is the tent, the open, the covered awning, which was placed in Guru Prasad so that people don't, the sun doesn't hit them. So Baba had told him, don't leave the awning. And some Westerner, I don't know if it was American, some young boy, 18-year-old boy, fainted due to the heat. So instinctively, as a medical person, he ran and he took care, first aid, and looked after this boy. And then he came back and then he realized that I've broken Baba's order. So he was very upset. And that kept coming into his mind, that with this. And Baba, from all the crowd, it seems, looked and said, let it be. But it still didn't. Then the second or the third time, Baba said, stop it, don't keep thinking about it. And then he was okay with that. I remembered that. Thank you. Yes.
Did I understand correctly that you were placed at Baba's as a baby?
That's right. Yes.
That was the only time?
Yes. I don't know how many times, because I think I went there on the 4th day. And my father was there in the tomb and they were fanning Baba and then changing. He was part of the people who were changing the blocks of ice and till the end. And the scarf that I have that with me also, which Mehra's scarf, which finally she had wiped Baba's face just before the internment. And that was used also. That stick and that scarf is with me. Yes, but I don't know, and I don't recollect. By no way would I this thing. There were few steps, as far as some of us, you all must be there. There were 4 or 3 steps which went down to the 4. There were 4. Yes, so that was the time.
It's in a photograph, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know if this is too personal, but how would you describe your relationship with Baba now, or even how it has evolved over time?
Yes. So maybe I think as the earlier generation, or maybe we were brought up that, as I said, I was in a Baba family, so I didn't question. It was, it was part of being with Baba. But I think I took Baba for granted, and earlier on it was like, oh Baba, please help me pass this exam. Oh, please let the bus be late. I was running for the bus. That kind of ridiculous things I recall doing. I think with age, and then of course, then I am a social worker. So I did a training, a course in that, and I realized, not that I didn't with my father, but it hit me, the differences, the injustice, the discrepancies that, come. And then I think I appreciated Baba much more. And then as I grew older, today, yes, I can say that, and the Baba's that how to love God. If instead of looking at someone else's faults, you look at your own faults, and the entire thing, I try to live by that, and I try to help people as far as I can. Of course, without ego is, if I say that I'm showing off, that doesn't happen. But I try my best to do that, and that is my way. And connecting with Baba is, being with Baba people. Being with them have helped me as an adult realizing. In fact, somebody had emailed me that what was your connection with Mehra and Mani, and do you recall, and how do you... And I unfortunately don't. I mean, it was a fun time. It was a happy time. We used to go to Mehrazad, spend the whole day, in the bus, and the whole Navsari bus used to come, and then we used to sit, Erach and Divana used to tell stories, but that to remain or to keep it, I think I was very foolish. Now I appreciate, and if you say what happened, I don't know, but that presence was there. And today, there is no one but Baba. That, and I do believe that he helps me, or he's there for me throughout. I don't know, it's just there. It's like that. I'll have that water. Alobar used to come to Pune much years after, in the 2000, early 2000s. And Alobar had this, at that time he had this thing about, if he went, he used to go for house visits, and we used to get a postcard every year. I will be at your place from 10:20 at 10:23 or something, and I will leave your house at 10:29 or 10:39 or whatever. We used to get these postcards. So, and Mr. Efade, one of the Pune Baba people, would bring him. And will you be able to drop me from your place to Mrs. Mehra's house? I said, yes, I will be able to drop you. So, and he would come. And I will not have tea. That also, because I think everybody would give him tea. But he used to come to my place. And that time, Aloba was in this phase of many what you call Indian homes have lots of pictures of different gods and goddesses, not only Baba. And he would, especially in the south, and he would go and actually say, take all this down, and we only want Baba's picture, no other picture, which had its own ups and downs or whatever, but he meant it. He was very, very firm that if you're a Baba lover, you will only keep Baba's frames in your house, no other gods and goddesses. So the first time he was coming to my place, I had recently shifted into Pune, and my mother-in-law, my in-laws had given me a beautiful Zarathustra carpet, the woven carpet of Zarathustra, and it was right there as soon as you walked in. There was Baba's picture, there was Baba Samadhi picture, but that was also there. So she frantically called me and said, put it down, do something, because she was worried that my in-laws would get upset if Aloba said take it down, then I wouldn't put it back up again. So I don't know what happened, and maybe I didn't listen to her or I forgot. So that Zoroaster picture was very much on the wall, and he came and he was very happy. He saw, and then he saw the frame. And he went, and he was so pleased, because in Persian, it goes the other way around, the script like Urdu, the words good thoughts, good words, and good deeds, which is the tenets of Zoroastrianism, was on that carpet. So he read that in Persian, because he knew Persian. So he was very, very happy, and I have written what it means in Persian also. It's back, and I had written it down. So he was and then he came, and he would always go to that picture and say, remember? I said, yes, I know. I don't remember what the words are, but I know that it is. So I missed my photo being thrown away, and it is still there. So that's something I recall. Then it stopped. Yes.
You mentioned that you go to Mehrabad frequently.
Yes.
How is it? Is it different for you from when the Mandali were there and now?
Yes. What I also recall, I mean, physically, when I was young, Mehrabad was very dry. It was barren. There were not so many trees. And if you know Dadi Kerawala, this one's brother, he was the botanist who was, I think, at Ganesh Kind and Botanical Gardens, and he shifted there, and he, set up these trees. I recall Mehrabad being hot and dry, and even during Amar Tithi, the lines were, till practically down, towards halfway down the hill, and all. Things have changed a lot. So in looks, yes, and I recall first we used to have our Amar Tithi at the what we call the Sabha Mandap, the stone thing right opposite Baba's Samadhi. Then, of course, the whole new open air state theatre thing was built and all. So I remember those kind of things. Now what happens is I associate, and I also miss when during Amar Tithi, Erach, and we knew the places where Aloba, Erach would sit and would talk, the women mandli would come and see the programs and things like that. I'm coming to what you're getting at. It is different, but it is very peaceful, and I think I'm coming to this place now as an adult, so I'm looking for that connect with the Samadhi and Baba rather than meeting everybody and greeting everybody, which also happens. I'm not saying no, there are people there too, but being so close, what we do, especially my husband used to do, was go in the morning, bow down, sit at the Samadhi for 2 hours. Yes, of course, have breakfast at MPR, most important, and then drive back. So in fact, I was just telling Vinod also, okay, next time I'll come and we'll make it a point to, of course, we do the go down and the men mandli samadhis and all, and we go and pop in at the MPC, which is now the art and this center, and say hi to Johan and all. That's another thing, but I think it's more personal. At that time it was more like family and getting to know people and meeting people. Have I answered your question? Something like that.
Dilmeher, I have one question. So your father was with Baba and probably he took care of him in terms of medicines and all that. Did he say anything about his experiences around
About?
Say he gave him medicines or something. Did he talk anything about that?
With Baba?
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Goher and my father were in connect, and there is correspondence with Dr. Ginde also, with my father, and they used to connect with that Ahmednagar doctor, especially the last few days of Baba in January, and they used to send telegrams to my father. And there was this thing, but he was more during Savas and all, he was the medical person in charge of the pilgrims or the people who came, especially I think the Westerners, because he knew English. So he was there and he was asked to look after people. And I know there is some story where some boy, Indian family, took very ill, and he was I think vomiting and diarrhea. And Baba asked Hoshang, my father, to go and see him and prescribe something. And he was very upset because it meant leaving Baba and going, but it was Baba's order. So he prescribed some medicine, and that child got better and came and appreciated. And that was when Baba said yes. And then again, he would next moment pull him, what are you? You're a doctor, you're useless, kind of a thing. But yes, towards the end, Goher used to connect with my father. Yes.
Could you tell a few stories about the 70s, 80s, and 90s of your time with the Mandali?
My stories?
Your stories, yeah.
70s, maybe I was too small, so it was just a fun thing. But yes, I remember as a child, money was very good with children. So the morning half was, of course, we used to play, and then when I grew older, it was one thing to go, who ran up fastest to the seclusion hill from all our teenagers, we used to do those kind of things. That's where I feel I missed sitting and, listening to Erach, or even Balnatu used to sit there. Later on, I did that. But as a child, I recall money used to take us after lunch, to that, if you're Baba's Mandli hall, if you're looking towards Baba's room, on the left hand side there was this little veranda and things. So money used to bring all these toys which I think the Westerners used to bring, the little ones which would move and wind and turn round and things like that, which was a novelty for even I was not that small, but we used to gather all the children, and then she was very animated, she would do something and then it popped here and that, and she used to entertain us children. And then as a little older, I used to help her. I used to carry those toys and the little things which she had, little puppets and things. So that's a memory I have. It we used to do with we used to gather the children around. Then what happened was that I studied in the same college, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, that Mehra did, Mehra Arjani, this Dadi and Sam's daughter, so Dadi's niece. So they used to always confuse me, and they would say, oh, you're doing the same thing that Mehra. By that time, Mehra had shifted to England and she was working in England. So I would say, no, I'm working in the community, in the field of health. But they would always, oh, how was your trip? And you were in that college. And then I would say, no, I'm not there. Now I'm working. And Goher would call me. And she would sometimes say, okay, there is this child in the community in Pimpalgaon who has this thing. And unfortunately, I could not help because I was either in Bombay or in Pune, and that child or that family, I would give the next best thing. And then I recall I would go with Goher to the clinic also. And that time she was in that wheelie, she couldn't walk, with her feet and all. So I don't know what, that little scooter kind of a thing, that chair which moved around, and she would show me, and she would ask, and I would be amazed. I would say, I don't know, you all are already doing so much, but they would always, sort of, what can you suggest? What can you do? So that was also, I mean, very, very this thing for me. So they would Goher, Dr. Goher would call me sometimes for something, and always eternally grateful kind of a thing. Then there was Arnavaz, Katie. Katie used to sing, and she would talk in Gujarati. And okay, I will share this. There was a phase when of my life when I was like, very anti or whatever, anything which I would not show that, how do I put it, I come from a privileged background. I would associate more with the people because I worked in the community, which is slum communities in India, in Mumbai. So I would be very, very simple, very modest, and I got married. And my mother-in-law and all were like, she would say, you're going out dressed like this? I said, yeah, so what, it's okay. Everybody, you can't afford good clothes and stuff like that. So somehow I got talking to Katie and Arnavas, I remember. I think my mom must have pushed. I think it must be my mom who said, okay, please talk some sense into this girl because, she's just sort of not doing anything which regularly we would do. So I remember Arnavas and Katie sitting me down and telling me that we lived with Baba. We lived very frugal lives. We lived on whatever, dal, rice, etc. But see me today, I still dress well. I still put my lipstick. Why can't you put your lipstick? Why is it this thing? And it clicked, I don't know exactly what they said, and I'm sure my mother had a hand to it, but they told, and what they said made sense. And they said, you don't deny who you are, you empathize, which all my years of learning didn't teach me. They said, you empathize, but at the same time don't lose who you are. You don't have to be them to help them, kind of a thing. That I mean that was something I had totally forgotten. I recollect that. Then I used to sit with Balnatu at the side, and he used to talk, and he had brought that book, Conversations with, so he used to read a little bit about that, and what do you think, and that was, at that time, it was a little different style of writing, and I had loved that thing. Then Alobaji, we used to go to his room, and he has all those tin cans with everything, and lot of memories, actually, if you say, but I can't really, it was just happy times, I would say. It's past 9, Dennis. Repeat? Yes. No, it's not. I don't know the protocol here. Okay, maybe we take. If somebody would like to share, I'm sure many of you all during chai time said that you all have met my father, or like you said, you know him, or you've heard or seen the videos. So, yes.
I think the only thing, of course, I met your father, but I didn't know him. Although Eric asked him to, when I had a sty in my eye, to please take care of this pilgrim, But didn't Baba also tell him all the members of the circles? Wasn't he the one who knew the names of all the members of the
No, not that I know of. The five Sadgurus.
Yeah, he did tell him, because he told us that,
Could be.
yeah.
Could be. Maybe. I do not recollect that. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I remember about her.
Yes.
I remember that your father came to a meeting at Darwin Shaw's in Schenectady. I don't remember anything specific, but I enjoyed it, and I remember enjoying it, being there. And I could have been in the 70s,
Yes. He had come in the 70s also with my mom, 73 I think. And before that in 60s he had come once too. And then in 89 we all had come together. Yes. Thank you. Avtar Meher Baba ki Jai.